Oh my god, it's so hard to move house with two little kids, but we finally did it. We bought a new house and we moved into our new house just last week. I already made a video about my first impressions of house hunting here in Sweden, so make sure to check out part 1. And in this video, I talk about it a little bit more because we finally bought a house. So this is part 2. So follow along if you want to know the process of buying a house in Sweden and also my personal experience. If you're new to my channel, my name is Julie and I'm originally from Germany. I moved here to Sweden just outside of Stockholm 1 year and 1 month ago with my British partner and my 3-year-old daughter. And now we also have a 4-month-old baby. In the past year, we actually rented a house in Salzburg in Nacka. The family went to Spain, wanted to live there for at least a year. And then, they just came back and we had to move out. But if you're interested in that little house tour, there is another video I made, so check it out. This is not only our first house in Sweden we bought, this is the first house ever we bought in this world. So we are very excited about it and I'm very happy to take you along this process. The first video about house hunting I published in February 2022. And now we are in July 2022 and we actually bought our house, kind of signed the contract in April 2022. We bought a Rathus and I can insert a few photos here to show you what it looks like. Obviously now we will have different furniture and stuff like that and we'll renovate it a little bit, but you get a good idea of what the Rathus, the terraced house, looks like. Yeah, so we looked at many houses. I think it was around 10 houses and it was not an easy process, but that was also because I was heavily pregnant and then I actually gave birth and we continued looking for houses mainly on the weekend because my partner was working, but main house viewings are here on a Sunday or on a Monday. The craziest thing was that we didn't have a car, so we had to use public transport. And although public transport is really good, it takes quite a long time. So it took us between 1 and 2 hours one way to get to a property, just because we were already living outside a little bit of Stockholm, so we had to kind of like go into Stockholm and then go to wherever we wanted to look at a house. And we were mainly looking in the areas of Tyresö, Haninge and Nacka. But yeah, we basically spent about 4 hours a day traveling, a Sunday traveling, and it was really crazy. But I can say at the end it was worth it because we did find an amazing house. It was really important to us that we actually find a house because we had to move out end of June and it was just not a great idea to have an interim solution like maybe renting another place, because then we needed to change like kindergarten and my daughter would go there and then maybe a few months later or 6 months later we had to move again. So the thought of it really wasn't so appealing to me, so I was very, very keen to find a good house for us. Talking about finding a good house, I wanted to introduce you to Skillshare, a sponsor of this YouTube channel, which made me all excited to learn more about interior design. If you're not familiar with Skillshare, it's an online platform where you can literally learn anything. You can explore creative topics and discover interesting skills. I'm watching and learning about interior design at the moment because I want to do it right. The course Interior Design Basics, Simple Steps to Your Perfect Space by Lauren Cox is a really cool online course to learn the basics of interior design. But yeah, this is just one example of many more topics you can explore on Skillshare. Skillshare was so kind to offer a free subscription for 1 month for my viewers. So the first 1,000 people to use the link in the description will get a 1 month free trial of Skillshare. Let me know if you also take any classes on this platform. So long story short, we visited that property and maybe it was a bit of destiny because there was already a bidding and someone actually kind of like won the bid and was about to sign the contract, but then pulled out last minute because they also bid for another house and then decided to go with the other house. So the owner of this house kind of had to do new viewings, and that's when we, appeared and looked at the house. And then they were also very keen to kind of sell it quite quickly because they already bought another house, so they had to confirm, details with the bank. So then we just accepted the price they wanted. We didn't have to do another bid. They also kind of canceled another viewing so that we could just buy the house and move on, basically. And it was very interesting how we kind of fell in love with this house, because we looked at it and we were like, yeah, it looks good, but then we left, and my partner actually forgot something in the house, and then we had to go back and tell the agent to open the house again to kind of get the item. And then in the meantime, the previous owner arrived, and was also a family of 4. So we got to chat a little bit about this area, because we didn't only buy this house, we also kind of, were very keen to move to this area. It is a very cute community. It's houses next to each other, kind of similar sizes, some villas, some townhouses. Normally the streets, no cars are driving there. Only if you wanted to maybe go to the house and kind of unload some stuff, then you can do that. But otherwise there are no cars, so it's not like next to a street, or which is, I think, really, really cool. Kids are playing outside on the streets. There are a few playgrounds around. One of the main appealing characters of this house was the area and the community, and we kind of hope, that our kids will make friends, that we will make friends. I mean, our neighbors already said hi, which is, what we talked about a little bit sometimes in some videos, that Swedes are a little bit reserved, but here from day one, people were introducing themselves, were quite curious, wanted to know us, and wanted to say hello. So it felt really good vibes. That's also what we felt a little bit when we walked around after the viewing. It was just really good vibes of the area. I probably didn't mention the area. It's actually Haninge. So yeah, that is basically the south of Stockholm. So yeah, once we basically decided to buy the house and the owner was also accepting the price, it went really, really fast. I think we signed the contract the next day. But yeah, it's because nothing is really set in stone until you sign the contract. And of course, you're quite keen to just make it official. And that means you have to sign the contract. Before you sign the contract, you can really cancel and there are no consequences. Because everything went so fast, we kind of told our bank that we are going to buy this house, but we kind of signed the contract without them getting back to us. And normally it's better if the bank knows what you're buying, because they actually will look into the house to see what the value of the house is, not that you maybe really pay so much more, it might be a problem. So we were told, but ours was absolutely fine. And also the bank will kind of look into if it is a condominium, bostadsrätt in Swedish, I think, or if it's kind of like ownership, which is called äganderätt or something like that. I put it here so you can read it. But yeah, there's a bit of a difference, because with a condominium you actually pay a monthly kind of fee, like a community fee, which I thought was always quite expensive. It was between like 4,000 and 7,000 krona per month, which is about £300 to £560 per month, or in dollars it's $380 to $660. So that basically comes on top of the mortgage you pay. The more I thought about it, the less appealing it was for me, because I really didn't want to have these extra costs, and it feels almost like you paying rent. So yeah, we were looking really into ownership, and the Rathus we bought is also ours, so it's not a condominium, it is ownership. So yeah, if you want to buy a house, you just have to be aware of a few things. And the first thing is you need a loan promise, and I think I mentioned that in my previous video. You just need to have like a sort of confirmation from the bank that you can borrow a certain amount. You need to pay 15% deposit. So whatever the sum is, 15% of it you need to have in cash, basically. And I think the loan promise normally lasts for 6 months, and then it kind of gets re-evaluated by the bank. Then you should also be able to show proof of where the money comes from. You know, if it is, for example, from savings, normally you just send a few bank statements to prove that. But yeah, that's something you need to do as well. And yeah, when you basically sign the contract, I think you have like 7 days a week to actually pay the 10%. So again, everything is quite fast. So within 7 days, you already have to pay the 10% and you pay that basically the property agent. Yeah, and then you also have to consider a few extra costs. So it's not only the price of the house, you also have to pay a stamp duty, which is about 1 or 2% of the price you pay for the house or for the property. And then there's also a fee you pay the bank. So that really depends on the price and also on the bank, how much they charge you. But yeah, even if you bought a house for a certain amount, you have to calculate that you have to pay a little bit of extra money here in Sweden. It's probably also the case in a few other countries. I know that there's stamp duty in the UK as well. And yeah, last but not least, there's the interest rates. And we have been quite unlucky. You probably have heard the news because of what happens, you know, in the world in the past years. In this year, it's not great, you know, it's quite ugly. And you can definitely see that also in interest rate, and they just went up. So just before we basically have our mortgage and the interest rates, they went up. There's an article which basically says Sweden's Riksbank steps up pace of interest rate rises. Central bank raises rate by 50 basis points to 0.75% and signals further increases to come this year. But we wanted to buy a house anyway. Who knows how long this lasts? You know, the article already said that might even increase more. So maybe it's better to buy now. It's probably best to buy 2 years ago, 3 years ago, but we were not here in Sweden. So it is what it is. And we just have to live with it. And how it works here in Sweden, you have different kind of periods, different time periods. You can choose 3 months, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, and I think 8 years and 10 years. And the thing here is as well, you kind of have to wait until almost the move day where you sign the final documents to receive your interest rates. There was a bit of a negotiation with a bank where when we first signed the first contract, and then maybe a month later or so in May, we were talking about the interest rates and we knew they would rise, what kind of options we had there. And we were told we could have had the rate on that day, but we had to choose to like 3 years and up. So the 3 months one and the 1 year one was not available. Plus we couldn't split the sum. So here in Sweden, you can basically split the sum and have interest rate on different parts of the amount. For example, you have to pay maybe 1 million krona, and then you can say you want 3 months interest rates on 200,000, and then 1 year on 300,000 and 500,000 on 3 years. So you can really split it, which I believe is quite a unique thing for Sweden because I have not heard that. I don't think that's possible in the UK or Germany. So that's very Swedish. But yeah, interest rates are what they are. We cannot change that. We just accepted them. We just split our amount in different periods. And that's about it. But yeah, it was not always easy with the whole paperwork just because everything is in Swedish. When we signed the contract, we were very lucky. We had a friend who joined us who kind of explained everything. You know, there was obviously previous owners and the property agent, and that was fine. And we trusted them, but it was just really good to have a friend there who can explain things and also, you know, comes from also a buyer perspective and just pointed out a few things we need to be aware of, which was really, really good. But yeah, one tip we also received was now we have this property, we should keep all the receipts when we do anything to improve the house, you know, even painting the walls and buying that paint, or when we do any renovations, which we are planning, We wanted to do the stairs and also bathroom. So every money we kind of pour into those renovations, we should keep receipts, because that means tax reduction. You basically have your expenses like in a business, and therefore you will pay less tax. I think there's also something called RUT, like RUT, and on Skatteverket it says a person who hires you to do ROT, so that's repairs, conversion and extensions, or RUT, cleaning, maintenance and laundry work, may get a tax reduction, a ROT or RUT deduction for the labor cost. I can leave a link below so you can read a little bit more about it. But yeah, that's also something the Swedish government offers when you do any renovations, or even if you get professional help cleaning your house, etc. So yeah, you can see actually behind me is the bed, which literally just arrived, which is really, really amazing. The house looks absolutely chaotic, but we are getting there. We are buying furniture. And it's kind of a cool part as well, although it's a lot of work. It's really exciting as well, and it's a lot of fun to pick out furniture and paints and stuff like that. So yeah, follow along, because I will give you a little house tour at some point when it looks a little bit less chaotic and we have a bit more furniture and stuff like that. So make sure to follow along. So thanks so much for watching till the end, and I hope I will see you in my next video. Until then, have a great day and stay safe. Hej då!